Hello, hello, everybody. Let's get right into it. We are going back in time. This day, October 28th, only going back 130 years to the year 1890. This is kind of what stuck out to me in this year's in this edition of Back in Time on this day. So right away, kind of an interesting one. The Brooklyn Bridegrooms were playing against the Louisville Colonels. Ended up winning a game 7 to force a tie, 3-3, and then there was a tie. The deciding game was never played. So I'm thinking, well, this is pretty unique. Looked up the 1890 World Series, and sure enough, first of all, the name, the Brooklyn Bridegrooms, kind of unique. Looking back at all these teams, really, it's some of the teams have some weird names. And speaking of weird names, there's their ace, good old Chicken Wolf. But anyway, yeah, in this matchup, it pretty much came down to it pretty much came down to an agreement between between the bridegrooms and the colonels, saying, okay, because the weather was getting terrible at that time, as now, imagine New York right now. It's cold. There's the potential for bad weather. So they pretty much made an agreement saying, okay, this will be the final game. If Louisville wins, there would be a deciding championship game the following spring. So they were going to plan it. They were going to find out who the actual winner was. But then it says down here, ultimately, in that winter, there was just a lot of changes going on, and ultimately the championship game was never held, just by virtue of just things being changed around. The league back then obviously was not as formed as the MLB today. There was still a lot of different happenings going on in this league. So yeah, it's kind of unique. I think this was the last time that a championship game, like a World Series or something, ended in an absolute tie. There's been tie games in World Series before. I was reading, in the 1920s, I think 1922 was the last World Series game where there was a tie game, simply because with technology at that point, when the lights went off, if it got too late, they didn't have time to decide a winner. They would have to call the game. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Just because I'm curious, I feel we have to click into Chicken Wolf now. Played 11 seasons, or I feel played other. He does look like he'd be a Chicken Wolf. Love the names. I think that gets me onto a point where we need to get back into having some cool nicknames like they did back then. We need to have people who are named Chicken Wolf and all the other just crazy nicknames of yesteryear. That was fun back then. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Kind of cool. I did not know that a World Series, or at that point World Championship, ended in a tie, because that is against human nature. There is a winner, there is a loser. Don't let today's society say otherwise about participation trophies. There is a winner. So till next time, have a good October 28th.